She unfortunately is not able to make this session. So for her true fans out there, I apologize. I will try to make up for it with it being a true crime club this month. I did drop the background in the chat window if anyone wants to join, but those who are new, each month we pick a different theme for our club to be, because this is Club Copilot. So this month we're doing a little true crime vibe. And as always, Heather loves to start with some fun facts about whatever club we're doing. Dwayne, looks like you're on the left. I think you're Sherlock's assistant, it looks like, for this one, not
She
Professor
made me
Plum.
Watson.
She made you Watson. Lucky you.
Oh, Heather.
So if anyone wants to maybe drop any like of their favorite true crime TV shows in the chat window, feel free to do that. But you'll see here we got some exciting facts on why people are fascinated with true crime, the desire to understand why, puzzle and problem solving, curiosity about the unusual, compelling storytelling, all that jazz. Anyone watch true crime? Anyone fall asleep to true crime? That's the real differentiator there, I feel like. I've got a friend who falls asleep to, is it Dateline or whatever that true crime show is? Like every night, that's her go-to-sleep show.
I feel like that's not a good thing to go to sleep to. I'm just gonna say.
Yep. I have connected with her a lot on that, but it's her favorite. Ooh, podcast, Unsolved Crime. Ooh, interesting.
I can't tell a story about me, but I can tell one about my wife. She's not home right now. I'll walk into the kitchen or walk into the living room or wherever she might be, and she's got her phone and her little headphones on, and I hear like a little bit of what she's watching, and I'm like, "What are you watching?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm watching a police interrogation." I'm like, "The actual interrogation or like a show about it?" No, the actual interrogation. I'm like, that's what you watch. Or like a trial or something. I'm like, not the documentary stuff, the actual recording of the event.
The
She watched the
real
entire
deal.
thing with
Oh,
Johnny
goodness.
Depp, like all of that. Ugh, she loves it.
Now, I'm a Law and Order girl, but so it's like fiction, but a lot of them unfortunately are based on true things. So I guess I'm not much better. All right. Moving on to the agenda. So similar, if again, I think we've got most of our repeat clients here, which is so exciting for any new faces. We meet twice a month. The first session of the month is what we call Listen and Learn. That is today. That's where we kind of go through any recaps, reminder, go over what's new, if there's been any new feature updates or things like that between the Copilot chat for free and then the paid M365 Copilot, going into feature of the month and what's next. Then the second time we meet later on in the month is going to be asks and answers, and that's where you all come to us with your comments, questions, and we're able to ideate together, share ideas of what other schools are doing across the U.S. So it's a really exciting time to join, again, both of those sessions. While we're here, anybody can guess what true crime person I am on the bottom right corner. Anyone guesses on what Heather made me? Nancy Drew. Ding, ding, ding. Yes. I read I still at my parents' house have every single Nancy Drew book. Read all of those as a kid. I even then read Cherry Adams, which is like the Nancy Drew of my grandparents' generation. So I had all those books from my grandma and her mom, and they are like old and weathered and yellowed, but they were so good. I went through all of those too. So I guess it's not a surprise that I fall asleep to Law and Order if I've read all of these. Yes, Cherry Adams. I'm so glad somebody else has heard of them. I say that a lot, and everyone's like, "Who are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Then it looks like Heather made herself Harriet the Spy, and then I don't know the top two. I forgot. Any guesses?
Scully.
And
X-Files. It's got to be X-Files.
X-Files.
Yeah.
There's a UFO in the background.
Oh,
two of
there.
them.
Yep.
A little alien statue. I like it.
And
Beverly Hills Cop was my guess too.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
The hair should be red, but Amy Bandy Taylor has blonde hair, so I get it.
Lindsay, don't you want to be Brenda Lee?
Who's that?
What's Brenda Lee's last name? Johnson, the closer.
Oh, maybe I need to watch that next.
Kira Sedgwick. Kira, I don't know. I say Kyra, but I get corrected. My wife's always like, it's Kira Sedgwick. And I'm like, I don't know, Kyra. I think Kyra's fine. I don't know which is the correct pronunciation. That's one show that my wife really loves is The Closer. We
Okay,
actually just finished watching, I think it's got either 7 or 8 seasons.
Perfect. My husband and I just started Absentia. That's kind of true crime-esque if anyone's seen that. It's on Netflix. We just finished season 1 on season 2 about some FBI agents and going missing and chaos and murder and all the good things you need in a whodunit show. So
Something to fall asleep to, right?
yes, exactly. A little light listening. And then obviously the purpose of Club Copilot, y'all, it's you guys. We want to have a resource for us to all connect, for you to connect with peers across the US. We've got a really cool mix of audience here going from K-12 to higher ed to community colleges to even some academic medical centers with positions ranging from teachers to ed tech to C-levels to IT admin. It's a really cool community here. I always tell everyone that these office hours are unlike any other office hours you're going to join at Microsoft. I think these are really fun and a good casual way to connect and learn from each other. So let's see here. April recap, as always, Heather does a great job recording these and posting them on our YouTube channel. So all of these links are hyperlinked because I'm presenting in Teams Live. So we've got the recording for last month. And then as always, some of our top go-to links to have bookmarked around M365 Copilot Roadmap and news and insights and all that jazz. And so with that, I think that's going to bring us into our what's new section for May. So I think, Darren, you were going to take lead on this, if that's right.
Yeah, I'm super excited about sharing the latest and greatest. So I'll go ahead and kick things off. Excuse my excitement. Like a lot of these features, especially when we get to mind maps, I'm so intrigued about, and hopefully you are too. But the first one really comes with pre-existing features that have been wrapped into the in-app experience with Copilot. So you may have heard of agent mode in the past. That same functionality and capability has started to roll out to your Office apps, primarily Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. A couple things to note when you're using this feature or you're exploring this feature. This will actually do in-app execution. So what I mean by that, it will directly edit your Word document, your Excel. For example, if you're in a workbook, and I can actually create a new sheet for you, pull in some charts, add some visuals. So it will do direct edits in your actual documents and files proper. The distinction or thing to think about here is in previous state with Copilot, if you were to open up Copilot as more of a thought partner in the right pane of your application, you would see this chat-only experience where you can ask questions and get a response. Think about transforming that flow of work and actually doing in-app execution. So really excited about that. You will also get transparent visibility into the actual edits as they're happening, and post production, you'll see exactly what Copilot did and kind of some justifications on the steps that it took. The next update here really focuses on notebooks. So many of you have heard of notebooks, maybe even have used notebooks. And as you probably recall, when we first introduced notebooks, you were able to reference OneDrive files individually. Now you'll be able to actually reference SharePoint. So you'll be able to point it to a SharePoint site, which, as you know, comes with its own respective document libraries and repositories. So that's very exciting news. So a richer data set that you can pull and ground your notebook on. Also, for those who, like me, and OneNote was your first Microsoft love, I still have my purple cape. Don't judge me, Dwayne. I will send you evidence and pictures of that. But you can reference a OneNote as a reference as well. So these are actively rolling out in April and May, or just past April and now in May as well. So if you don't quite see them today, just know that they're actively rolling out as we speak. So this is available through the Frontier program. So if you're not familiar with that, we'll make sure we drop links and documentation in the chat just so you can get informed about what the Frontier program is and how to get early access to some of that functionality. But not only that update with notebooks, the second update with notebooks that we want to focus on is mind maps. And this is huge. And I know our friends Max and some other folks are on the call, but I know they're excited about this too. But being able to have this visual of what is actually contained in your notebook, potential themes, maybe relationships and references can be highlighted here. And I think of this as more so I have this great project workspace. Maybe I'm even done with the project, or maybe I'm beginning the project, at least having a visual starting point of what's contained in this notebook or in this notebook, and then what potentially could be expanded upon, and using that as a starting point, whether you're doing V2 or whether you're rolling over into your next academic year where you want to do some additional planning on an additional project, you can at least have this visual map. As the slide here says, it is useful for kickoffs, but I like to use it for retrospectives and reflecting back as well. So think of it, something that you can use throughout your project, phases, if you will. So super exciting update there on Notebooks Mind Maps. Super excited about that. All right. The next thing here is the plan mode in Excel. So many of you who have used Copilot in Excel have seen Copilot just kind of go to work, but you may not get that opportunity for a pause and some additional inputs before Copilot completes that step. What you're seeing here now is with the plan mode, you're going to get more transparency into exactly the logic and the steps that Copilot is taking before executing in case there's a decision point that needs to be made by the user. So essentially what that means is you're going to get additional controls. Maybe you wanted to reorder steps. Maybe you wanted to modify a step. You can get this multi-step and stage analytical work done with more user control. So we affectionately refer to that as plan mode in Excel. And it just gives you another chance to review. For those of you who have been using other features like the Word agent, Excel agent, and PowerPoint agent inside of Copilot chat, I liken the idea to where you get those opportunities to add input, like it'll give you kind of a picker of different choices and selection. I liken the plan mode to that conceptually, just kind of aligns the way I visualize the plan mode. So very important if you're doing more complex tasks with larger data sets, if you need to do some additional modeling. So just wanted to call that out. That feature is rolling out this month, so can't wait for it to arrive. Next feature here. This one I think slid under the radar. I don't think many people saw this or caught this, but this actually rolled out in April for those of you who have started to use Copilot in PowerPoint. There's more image options and specific models, dedicated to creating images. So, for example, the GTP image 2.0 Flux, and there's an auto selection. So anytime you see auto, whether it be in Copilot chat or in the applications themselves, auto basically means based off your prompt, Copilot will orchestrate in the background and determine what's the best model for the task that you're trying to complete. The only reason I say that, I do not have a art background. My wife doesn't really let me hold the camera for family photos, so I really don't know what model to select by default. So I do use auto, but for those of you who do have a great appreciation and knowledge with selecting our phototistic background, you can definitely select specific models that you think are best. Specifically, when you think about photorealism, illustrations, schematics, you can kind of select those different models. Again, this is the category I fall into, folks. Auto for non-experts. So if you don't know what to choose, just, your default can be auto there if you need to. Next thing here, again, another feature that I think kind of went under the radar just a little bit. You have the AI Image 2 efficient model that's also going to be available in PowerPoint. And essentially, as the title alludes to here, this idea of a much more efficient and faster model. Just for awareness, the faster turnaround just results in lower costs and more suitable for slide imagery. So this is something that you may consider using if you decide to pivot from this model, you still can use some of the more premium models. As you see here in the image, you have kind of that model picker experience where you can select the best model for the best task. But just wanted to call out, if you know you're going to be using images, or the images don't require a ton of output, you can definitely select from these models here, the AI image to efficient model there.
One thing I'll chime in on there
Oh,
real
yep.
quick
Go ahead.
is that's an in-house Microsoft model. So folks have asked us before about, like, does Microsoft have models? Yeah, we do. So Microsoft AI is MAI. And 3 models were launched, and this is one of them, and it was launched and included into PowerPoint relatively quickly. I'll grab some blog posts, and there's a playground you can log into and run some prompts against it if you'd like, but just wanted to throw that out there. That's kind of a big deal, right?
Yeah, that's a great call out. Yeah, this is pretty powerful. And there's a blog on, I know Dwayne said he'll drop it. There's a blog that kind of walks through some of the particulars there, but exciting. All right, just one more here. So just if you haven't noticed, I know the blog came out previously, but just so you know, when you're in the model picker, and that applies to Copilot chat for users who are using kind of the basic license, and also premium users as well, you'll be able to select from GPT 5.5 thinking as a model here for your selection. Also, as a part of some of the image updates that I mentioned a few moments ago, you have Chat GPT Images 2.0 to enable that deeper reasoning if you needed to do multi-step work. So all that to say, you have 2 of the latest models here available in Copilot Chat. These are rolling out relatively soon, so I would just say give it some time before it actually rolls out into your environment. But I think most of you today are starting to see at least 5.5 for the most part. Most users are starting to see that. So with that, those are our primary updates. I just have one more that I want to share. For those of you who are in the Frontier program and have started to use Cowork, you may be familiar with Opus 4.7, which is one of the latest models there as well. That can be used for multi-step reasoning. I have played with this myself, and it is quite powerful when you think about categorizing and condensing and synthesizing information and creating those outputs. Is really, really powerful. So for those of you who, again, are in Frontier and would be open to trying Cowork, it's definitely worthwhile. With that, I'll hand it back over to the team. I believe I'm going to hand it over to Dwayne and Lindsay.
Oh, you're on
Yeah,
mute,
that's
Dwayne.
twice today I've done that. Gosh. If anybody from my last call is on this call, you can feel free to make fun of me. It's 2026. I should be able to unmute. Thanks, Darren. Yeah, there's some exciting stuff in there. There was a question in the chat about, like, hey, how do we get slides like this? And so for the sake of the recording, aka.ms/what's new Copilot is a link that is updated every single month. And this one, I believe, was just updated on May the 6th, I want to say. So relatively fresh. And we go out and get that content and share it with you so you have an idea. There's a lot more in that deck than what Darren was able to cover, because if we included everything, then that would be the entire call. So there's other stuff in there that you should definitely go check out and monitor, I would say. Evergreening is a very important part of Copilot adoption. And so make sure your people know what kind of new awesome stuff they have available to them. All right, I'm going to pivot us over to our feature of the month, which isn't exactly a feature. It's more of an idea and a real thing that we did. I think my friend Carrie is here. We're going to talk about a program called, hey, Carrie, it's one of my favorite. She's got, you're not rocking the
No.
it's okay.
No.
It's okay. Carrie and I spend a lot of time together, and we have been working for a very long time on a program that is for the Microsoft side, dubbed the Campus Copilot Champions Program at USF, where Carrie is from. It is called the Student Ambassador Program. And that's okay, but it caused a little bit of confusion on our side because we have an official program called Microsoft Student Ambassador. So you'll see a little bit of a mixture of terminology as we go forward here. So I'm trying to take over the slides, and there we go. Awesome. So we don't really have a script. Carrie and I work together so much that I had no concerns around us just talking to each other about this program and what we did. So let's proceed. We built this program. This was an idea started by one of our VPs and the CIO at USF. His name is Sydney. And they were talking about like, hey, wouldn't it be kind of cool if students could get trained on like a new way to work, AI, and then we use their newfound skills with faculty, staff, and business groups to help modernize processes because students have really fresh, cool ideas. And now here we are. We're actually doing it. We're on our just completed our third cohort of students at USF. But the idea behind this program is we've created a bit of a framework based off of the hard work of USF. And this framework is for other schools to kind of get an idea of how this program works and maybe implement it themselves. But the benefits are, it's like a triple win. Everybody wins. I haven't seen any losing. Carrie, do you think everybody wins in this?
Everybody wins. Yep.
I mean, everybody's winning. Students are getting AI skills. Students are getting dedicated training from Microsoft. They're being taken through, relatively quickly through Microsoft 365 services. They're getting some change management training. They're, of course, getting some Copilot training. I have worked in education IT my entire grown-up life, and I have never met an EDU IT team that has too many people on it. I don't believe that exists. And so extending IT capacity is a big part of this as well. Sysadmins and business relationship managers and stuff, like, I just don't know if there's capacity for them to go out and meet one-on-one with every single group within the entire university. Like that's a lot to ask for. So the other win here is those groups get dedicated one-on-one attention from these ninjas that get trained up. And we discover like real world scenarios, real ways that folks are trying to use Copilot, real business processes that might rely on old technology or some sort of legacy process that we can kind of grab it and bring it into the 2026 era. Things that take a long time, things that are just flat out annoying, that just take forever. And we want people to be able to get through them quicker. This is a very wordy slide, but this is kind of a mock-up of the first round of trainings that we did with the students. It's changed a little tiny bit, but for the most part, this is still the spirit of the boot camp, if you will, that the students would go through. Carrie and Grace from USF, we work on this a couple times a week. We have these sessions when we're going through the training sessions. We pull in, other people from Microsoft that talk about how they're using Copilot and AI in work here. We give them adoption and change management training because a lot of cloud solution architects are ProSci certified. So we talk about change management and really try to give the students as a well-rounded skill set as we possibly can to prepare them for what they're about to encounter. Carrie, I'm going to shut up for a second. You got any thoughts on anything I've said so far? Because I'm talking too much.
I think that the main thing that I would add is that, we have so many resources out there. There are webinars, there's all kinds of stuff that Microsoft provides. And I think that, people in their jobs are just a little bit, they don't know where to start. They don't know what they don't know. And so what this program has allowed us to do is to really give them, hands-on. We have the first meeting and we say, what's your biggest problem? What's the thing that you have to do repetitively? And so that's where they start. So it's been really successful in helping some of those folks have a starting place, and then that makes the whole technology a little bit less scary for them going forward.
I mean, working with, what does success look like, or what's going on, like how can we help instead of like throwing a bunch of technology at them, has definitely been a much better approach of understanding what's the deal, like how can we help, which has been a lot of fun.
Yep.
We have some ideas around, like criteria, if you will. There's a lot of sign up forms. So there's a sign up form for students. There's actually a sign up form for departments who want to come in and maybe present a use case or present a situation that they feel like could be modernized. There's a little bit of a time commitment required here, especially like you saw that training schedule for the students. And so there's Carrie, y'all did like a little bit of an interview process this last time, right? Where you're like, hey, let me meet you, let me talk to you, see what you're interested in. How did that change things, you think?
Yeah, so we started out, our first semester was the summer semester, and we did it just with use cases inside IT. So we were kind of winging it and learning new. And so each semester we've learned a little bit more and kind of tighten some of our processes so that we can make sure that students know what the commitment is up front, and we understand, what kinds of things that they're interested in. Excuse me. So I think in the spring we added the student more of a little bit of an interview and a conversation about what the commitments are. And then we also added some additional time with clients as well, because again, they know they want help, but they don't know exactly what they would like to see. So do you want me to answer some of these questions from the chat, or will that throw you off, Dwayne?
Well, some of them we're going to answer with the content that's coming up.
Okay, that's fine.
So I was holding on to them.
So we're just kind of building on it every semester and making a little bit better as we go.
Yeah. I mean, we've got 3 under our belt now, and I think we learned something new every single time. Which has been a lot of fun. But I want to get to one of the really, really exciting things. This is, of course, de-identified information, but these are real generalized scenarios that these students helped with. They helped modernize all the things that you see on that screen. Were presentations that I had the pleasure, the privilege of watching them present their findings, which I got to say is probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It made me so happy. But we had stuff from like, okay, there's a particular person in this job role. They have to generate this report. They meet with a person. They didn't know about transcription in Teams. They have a Copilot license. They had concerns around access to the transcription. These students, after going through Teams training, they knew, oh yeah, let me show you Teams meeting options and show you how to limit access to the transcript so that you can have confidence that you're the only one that can get to it. Like they remembered that and jumped straight into it and made that person feel a lot better about leveraging that because they were concerned. And so having that transcript then really unlocked time savings capabilities, because now instead of taking notes and creating documentation, like you're just having the conversation with the person and then generating that report. And that particular one, I'm reading the first line in the table there, was a 50 to 65% reduction in the amount of time spent on that particular process, just one process by one person. So I was just so happy. I can't describe it any other way. Carrie, any of these jump out at you that you remember that were, I mean, there's just so many. We've seen so many of these now. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Library.
I'm trying to think if there's anything specific. We had the student that worked with the College of Medicine. They actually offered him a position the following semester so that he could go in
Yeah.
there and work with them more. He ended up, I guess that's in there. So he ended up building an agent for their medical school handbook, which is pretty big. And so students are able to ask questions of the agent instead of having to pour through the whole book. So yeah, there were a lot of successes and a lot of different use cases. We had a really wide variety of use cases that we had across the whole university, which was pretty cool to see too.
Yeah, yeah. These students had a lot thrown at them,
Yeah.
and they handled it very, very well. There were some questions in the chat around like who's running this, and I did not realize there were so many unnecessary animations on that slide, so apologies. There is a role that would be a program manager. I actually had the privilege of interviewing Carrie for about an hour, and we just sat there and had a conversation about, hey, what did it take to make this happen? And then I took that transcript and I turned it into what I would call like a mini job description of sorts, roles and responsibilities for the program manager. But it is certainly necessary to have someone on the university side because Microsoft can't just come in and start emailing your students, right? Like we've got to have a relationship manager kind of role there. So Carrie, you want to talk about you're the program manager, so this role was built based off of you.
Yeah. So my role in IT is focused on client success. So I'm strategic communications and client success. And so, we work with webinars and we have a coffee and Copilot of our own that Dwayne helps us with. And so this was another level of that outreach to our university community. And so I started the summer one and we kind of built it from the ground up. And then in the middle of summer, we hired a program manager and she was, she's a new, just graduated and this was a first job for her. So it was really good for her to work with students. And so it's a lot of coordinating. So we put the number of hours, hours a week that we think that we take. The commitment really is, and we have a lot of these things spread out, right? So it's more a coordination effort for us than it is, somebody sitting and spending 40 hours a week working on this. So, we set up the new semester. We set up the schedule. We post for students. We select students. We interview students. We post for clients. We talk to clients and kind of get those use cases down. And then we just kind of execute through the semester.
Nice. Well, there's also a role on there that I'm quite familiar with called a cloud solution architect. It says Microsoft Cloud Architect. And that was me. So working with the students, answering questions, leading those training sessions. We set up office hours. So after we give the students some time to absorb the fire hose of training that they got, maybe meet their client, get an understanding of what's going on. We don't want to just throw them into the fire, so to speak, right? Like we set up some office hours. We have a team dedicated for this. You heard Carrie talk about like setting up the stuff for each cohort for each semester. We have a dedicated team for that. They can post their questions. I can see them and answer them asynchronously, or we can jump on an office hours call and they can actually talk a little bit about their particular use case with their client. If they feel like they need some help, I'm there to help. A lot of times I get like major imposter syndrome because I realize that they don't need my help and they've only had training for like a few weeks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like this close to obsolete. So I'm hanging on by a thread. But yeah. And then we have, of course, have the rest of the account team that's helping support this adventure as well. It's a big team effort. A lot of team effort going on there. Things that we would ask a university that was thinking about doing this. The most important thing that you would start with is executive sponsorship, being that this was a conversation that started at the CIO level. That was easy. That box was checked off already. But having some executive sponsorship really helps. And I absolutely commend Sydney. He shows up to these presentations and watches watches what they present, attends the kickoff at the cohorts, really establishes the vision of here's what our AI vision and what our journey has looked like. Let me give you, kind of some of the past so that you can understand the future that we're headed towards. It's really, really, really cool. Some unified hours in there as well, because that's what I'm connected to. But we're really not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the framework, and I will be dropping a link in the chat here in a moment for all of you to grab some of this content. Program manager, communications manager, like I said, doing outreach to the various student groups. Now, Carrie, you had in our initial cohort, you already had some connections to a group of students that had some relationship with IT already, right?
Yeah, we have a group of cybersecurity students who we work with. We have a shadowing program and a mentoring program, so we had connections with that group, and then there is a programmer group out of computer science that we worked with as well. So they disseminated some of this stuff to their students. So our first batch of students were really technical, and so what we tried to do from there, because we were really interested to see if students in non-technical majors could be effective with this, and they are. And I think even more so because they're talking to people in their own disciplines or in other areas that maybe aren't computer science.
Yeah, we've got some, education majors and got to work with the College of Education. So that was a wonderful, like, natural connection to make there. And yeah, having them all be engineers wasn't really the idea of of the
Well, and our
program.
engineers are great, but we
Oh
really
yeah,
did
for
want to,
sure.
yeah, we really did want to spread it out and, have some practical, non-technical, because we're really not looking to build automations or programming or things for people. One of the tenets of this program is that what they do for a unit or for a person, a client, is something that they need to be able to pick up and take up on their own. So we didn't want students building a bunch of automation that if somebody needs help with it, then they have to come back to IT for help. Now, there have been use cases that have come out of it that have surfaced that are really good ones that IT will pick up and put into Copilot Studio for the wider university.
Yeah, yeah, having a process that relies on the student isn't really sustainable. So, and the
Right.
students all, they understand that during the training of here's how we want to build. Like, we want you teaching them how to fish, right? Not fishing for them, kind of thing. And they've done a really great job of making sure that anything that they create can be handed off. I've seen some wonderful, like, playbooks that the students have generated with, here's a prompting guide for your scenario tailored to you. And just imagine, like, everybody on the call, like, imagine if your people had an AI coach that was listening to their specific situation and making assets and materials and handing it to that person, saying, here's a book right for you, made for you in your case. So that has been a lot of fun to watch that happen. Now you're licensing these students, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that the clients always have a license. So, but the students are getting a license by being a part of this program, right? Is kind of we'll call it a perk.
Yep, IT is funding licenses for them for every semester they participate. So we, every semester we have a new cohort, and then we let students who participated in previous cohorts decide whether they want to continue and start working with new clients or not. So that is one of the perks that we have for it. Our clients are a mix. So we have a lot of clients that just have that have Copilot chat, the basic, and then we have clients who have M365 Copilot. So that's one of the things up front when Grace and I are speaking with clients is understanding what their licensing is. And for a couple of use cases that were really interesting, we actually picked up their license for a little while. And if they find it useful, then they know come December, January, they're going to have to pick up the cost of their license.
Yeah, yeah, and the objective is not a Copilot upsell. The objective is here's a toolbox, here's all the tools that are in it. Tell me what your issue is, and then we'll pick the right tool for the job. That is
Yeah.
the pure intent of the program. But it is pretty cool that the students do get access to a licensed version of Copilot. I don't have it on the slides, but there's another thing I should have thrown a slide in here about this. There is, like I said earlier, there is an official Microsoft Student Ambassador program, and I've got it pulled up on my screen here. It's adjacent to the Microsoft MVP program. So thank you, Luke. Oh, Luke's here. Luke is the CSAM from the account as well. I spent a lot of time with Luke also. So yeah, there's the MVP communities link. There is a link here that's a little bit more further down in the navigation that is something called milestones. So the students who go through this program get basically automatically onboarded into the student ambassador program at that second level milestone. Luke, do you want to talk about how that works? Because you have more involvement there than I did.
Great job, Dwayne and Carrie. This has truly been such a rewarding program to be part of. To Dwayne's point, definitely imposter syndrome to just see how quickly kids assimilate. And what's been really cool is they're not boxed into one solution. It's great. The consultative listening approach that the students take, where it's not agents for every scenario. Sometimes it's an agent, sometimes it's skilling, sometimes it's reinventing a process. So it's been really great to be a part of this program. To Dwayne's point, it was a little bit of a square rectangle scenario as far as with the Global Student Ambassador Program. That's part of the rewording on our side. And so with our program, if you're part of the Campus Copilot Champions, you're automatically moved to that second level of the Global Student Ambassador Program. So typically there's a nomination process, certain steps that the students need to take to get to that second level. In this case, if you're part of this program, you're automatically moved to that associate student ambassador level. So students are able to get access to an M365 tenant, Visual Studio, Azure credits. There's different swag and certifications and vouchers that they'll get access to. So it gives access to that broader community. And what's great is if they want to do more things within the campus community, they're able to get more points and credits that they can use toward additional swag. And it's a portal where they can choose what they're interested in with that branding. So a lot of great opportunity there.
Yeah, we definitely want to address the what's in it for me for the
Yes.
students to be a part of this program. Getting a lot of recognition, which I have something coming up. You'll see some recognition, but being a part of this program is a part of the official student ambassador program, getting fast tracked into it, and the resources that you get by being a part of it has been really cool. A lot of the students are like, wait a minute, you're going to give me Azure credit and I can do whatever I want? I'm like, yeah, have at it. So it's been really fun to see them get basically the kind of the same benefits that a Microsoft MVP gets, which makes me hope there is definitely a path for these students to become Microsoft MVPs when they enter the workforce and make community contributions. I feel like it'll be, I don't want to say it'll be easier for them, but I kind of think it will be to get on track there. We just like a couple days ago launched our success story about this partnership with USF. You can click the read the story blue button there if you'd like to see it. There's a short little video with some interviews of some of the students that were a part of the program, and Angelin and Ricardo are quoted in the story. They were from the first cohort of students and they were rock stars. And this quote from Sydney just makes my heart so happy. Like, talking about it's friendly and joyous. And it really was. Like, Carrie, I got to shut up again. I'm going to go off the rails. His interview was so cool. So everybody go watch that video. Oh, gosh.
We've
Carrie,
had a
you
lot
got
of fun
anything
with
there?
it. No, I don't think so. It's just it's really been a joy to work with students directly on this, and to kind of see what they come up with, and to be continually impressed with how bright they are.
Yes. Yeah, that, like, I know I joked about imposter syndrome, but being impressed about what they create and what they come up with and how quickly they can take it all in and then turn around and act on it just I mean,
Yeah.
I've worked on some of this stuff for years and I'm still trying, to make processes evolve. And they're like, oh yeah, we got that. I'm like, oh man, I'm
I
doomed.
think the other thing too is I think it's a pretty low stress way for people for staff to get help.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
when you have people who know they need to keep up with technology, they don't have time to do the experimentation and the learning and the, attending classes and everything else. If they can get quick wins out of a couple of problems that they have, then it really goes a long way toward adoption and people being more efficient and feeling like the tools support them rather than just a bunch of stuff out there that they don't know where to start with.
Yeah, I mean that personalized connection that they're getting it really matters. I mean, I talk to customers every single day, and I know one of my partners in crime, Joe, may be out there somewhere. Joe and I learned really quickly in a previous role that Microsoft can produce all kinds of stuff, but when you hear it from someone local, like a peer or someone within your culture of the university, it just seems to stick and matter so much more. And so they get to make that kind of impact in a way that I just never could. So it's really, really cool to see them doing that. I do have a link for everyone if you're interested. This is not super duper official, and I'll have to say it for anybody who may be watching the recording, but it is aka.ms/CCC Success Kit, and that stands for Campus Copilot Champions. It has the slides that we just used. It has a micro job description of a program manager that would run the program. It also has templates for Microsoft Forms that you would use that you're obviously free to copy into Forms and customize as you see fit for onboarding students into the program, as well as onboarding potential clients from the business into the program. So it's kind of hopefully a way to get you jump started. And Carrie, there was a thing that happened with the first form that was a really good sign. And that was, oh my gosh, we need to turn this thing off because
Yeah.
the first batch of students that you sent that out to, we were like, yeah, we're going to do like, I don't know, maybe 15. And then after about 100 signups in the first 24 hours, we're like, we need to turn this off. So students are definitely interested. They're hungry. They're hungry for this kind of stuff and they really want to participate. And so since we're a little bit ahead of schedule, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remind you that we have some meetings coming up. That's today's meeting, May 12th. June, we'll be doing our listen and learn session where you're free to ask questions. It will be less talking at you and more talking with you. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording because, Carrie, if you don't mind hanging out for a minute, I have a feeling there might be some questions that we might want to answer, and I don't know if people want those on YouTube. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording. Maybe.